Hey everybody, John Michael Bailey, John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers. Listen, have you ever been offered quick cash after a wreck or some sort of collision or a slip and fall injury? You know what that means? That means that the insurance industry and the insurance adjuster knows you have a great case. That's why they're trying to give you pennies and peanuts instead of real money. Today, we'll talk about how to protect yourself from that and why you should never settle too fast. Most commonly, the insurance adjuster will try to give you a little bit of fast cash right after they figured out that you have a great case and before your injuries are fully understood. This is why they don't want you to go to trauma trained medical professionals, because they don't want you to know how badly you're hurt. And they don't want you to know the extent of your injuries because they don't want you to know how much your claim is really worth. So if you've been in an accident where maybe your head hit the steering wheel or the side glass or something like that, it's very, very common for you to have what's called a traumatic brain injury. Now, let's explain what this is. This is what your head and your brain look like, just like this, and it sits in a cup, just like this. And while the front part of the brain right here, that's smooth, God designed that to ward off blows. On the inside, there's a lot of rough ridges. And so the brain moving back and forth can cause cuts and bleeding in the brain. These are called brain bleeds. And there's a particular type where the brain itself will shift within the cup that it sits in, and it will tear the internal capillaries, which are all running down through the middle of the brain here. And that will cause what is called brain shear. And it's an internal brain bleed. This can sometimes take a while to manifest itself. If you take that money quick and you sign that release quick, you can't ever go back and say, hey, wait a minute, I was hurt more than I thought I was. That's why they're there at your door. So if an insurance adjuster shows up at your door with a check in his hand, you need to slam that door on his nose. And then as soon as you do that, you need to call a lawyer. Now, you don't have to call me, but I would love to hear from you, and you can call us anytime. Now, let's talk about some other stuff. If there's been some whipping motion back and forth, which is quite common in any collision, you're going to have ligament laxity. Again, this is covered in one of the books that I wrote called 2 + 2 = I'm Hurt. I encourage you, please go to the website, download these books. They're free. We're not trying to charge for any of this. We're trying to get the information out there so people can protect themselves. But all of these nerve roots can be aggravated, and the ligaments that hold your head in place and make it do what it's supposed to do, once they're stretched out of shape, the doctors will call this hypermobility. I call it ligament laxity. It never goes back the same. So that's why you'll hear people at dinners or parties or in social gatherings will say, you know, my neck has never been the same since the accident. Well, the insurance adjuster will tell you that's all in your head. That's a lie. It's all in your neck. It's called ligament laxity, and it means that your ligaments have been stretched out of shape and they will never, ever go back to the same shape. Same thing with your knees right here. When the ligaments get stretched out, that's why you hear people after they perhaps had a sports injury say, my knee has never been the same. That's hypermobility. Same thing can happen in an accident. Same thing can happen in your shoulder. So for all of these reasons, all of these things take a minute to manifest themselves. So you need to make sure that you're thoroughly and completely checked out by trauma-trained medical personnel before you even think about trying to conclude your case. Now, remember, you can go alone and do this yourself. The insurance company's own statistics will tell you that if you hire an attorney, you get 2.5 times more money than somebody who does it on their own. What you might think is just a sore jaw could turn out to be an injury called temporomandibular joint disorder. This is very common from when your jaw would hit the steering wheel or even from the side glass going back and forth. An irregulation and an injury to this jaw joint right here. And if you stop and think about it, we use this joint more than we use any other joint in the body. This is what we use when we eat, we talk, we chew, we breathe. Again, the most common used joint in the entire human system, entire human body. And so if you have an irregulation in here or an injury here, you're going to know about it. And it is a lifetime injury. You're going to need lifetime treatment, and you deserve a lifetime of compensation for this because If you settle too quickly and take that quick money, you can't go back and tell these people, hey, I found out I was really hurt and you need to pay me more money. They're going to laugh in your face. Trust me, I've had too many people call me and tell me that has exactly happened to them. Please don't let it happen to you. Now, listen, there's all kinds of other injuries that fall into this. Rotator cuff injury. It's very common to have a rotator cuff injury from the seat belt after an accident. That's one of the questions we always ask people about. Are you having trouble, for instance, lifting a gallon of milk? Can you lift your arm above your head? Because we look for these injuries. We call these the hidden injuries, the ones that take a minute to show up. I've written a lot of books about this. The links are down in the description, but I've written one called Hidden Injuries that goes into all these injuries that take a while to manifest themselves. I've gone over all the types of injuries that you can expect to have in a collision. That book is called 2 + 2 = I'm Hurt. Again, the link is in the description. Please go to the website, download them. They're free. All you got to do is just download them. They're free. We're not trying to monetize. So if you're getting anything out of this content, if this content is of interest or helps you or somebody that you know in any way, please give us a like. Please subscribe. If you have any questions or if you want to ask about a particular situation of you or somebody that you know, leave it in the comments. We love comments and we answer them. We look for them and we answer them. We love the engagement going back and forth. Listen, these adjusters who come in and smile and wave cash in front of your face, I want you to remember one thing. A smiling cheater is still a cheater, and they're trying to cheat you out of what you rightfully deserve. Please don't let that happen. Again, you can go it alone. You can call anybody you want to, but we would love to hear from you. We live and breathe injury cases, and we live and breathe going toe-to-toe with these adjusters and calling them out on their shady tactics. So listen, the lawyers at John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers get up and roll out of bed every day knowing that we do the good things for the people that need us the most. And that's somebody who's been hurt and is being taken advantage of by the insurance industry. So if you need us, 888-WE-FIGHT. If you're hurting, we're working. We never close. We're open 24/7, 365. Finally, if you can hear my voice, I wish you peace and joy. And as always, I hope to talk to everybody real soon. 888-WE-FIGHT.